Hello and welcome back to NATO Plays Minecraft. Hello, Mr. Pigman. Hello. 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 No. Okay, so I have been a bit busy off screen. I have, for instance, completed the roof structure, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I've made the nether portal on this side a little bit bigger. I have replaced some of the materials and changed a few things, and I've also completed the underside. Now, this obviously happened pretty quickly, and I didn't record most of it because I just kind of wanted to get a chunk done. I wanted to finish this space as soon as possible. Sorry, my mouse was just sticking a bit, so I had to wipe the sensor. Anyway, yes. So, without further ado, let's talk about this roof structure. So essentially, it is and for this, actually, let's go into creative quickly, just so I can talk about this easily. So essentially, this is a series of steps up, making a curve. Now, I did this section first. This is actually a series of slabs and stairs, so it kind of alternates. Oops. Damn creative mode. Kind of alternates like this, and then it goes into slabs. Now, this essentially allows you to have a slightly more shallow curve, although that section there's a bit weird. Yeah, it allows you to taper off a curve a bit better than if you just have stairs. So that's the first section that got done. I repeated that style of curve on all four sides, constructed this top section here with andesite, polished andesite as a kind of extra detail. At the same time as I did that, I decided to replace this cobblestone around the portal with andesite, because I thought it made a nice kind of, a slightly nicer entranceway, a slightly nicer kind of smooth appearance. I think it worked really well, and it kind of broke up the texture between the cobblestone and the cobblestone on the floor and the cobblestone on the walls. A lot of the time with this, there was a lot of visual confusion between the walls and the floor, and it just ended up looking like a big cobblestoney mess. So that's the decision I made. I also replaced the cobblestone stairs down here with the smooth stone slabs. Again, just to break up the definition between the stone on the walls and the stone on the floor. Just makes it a little bit more interesting. Back up to the roof. These sections here, connecting the uprights, they took a bit of time to get right. In essence, they're just the same kind of stairs and then stone slab, or smooth stone slab. That's actually just a block of cobblestone, to give the smoothing effect and the circularization around. Now, there's also these kind of projected out smooth stone slabs. They're mostly there just to give a bit of extra detail. Without them, it seemed a little flat and uninteresting. But they also hold they kind of highlight the glowstone blocks, and they're as if they're holding them in place. One thing that I could end up doing is, see, in the perfect world, I'd actually put one here, as in line with this, so there, so it would fill this block here. Unfortunately, because this block above it is cobblestone, it's cobblestone slab, you can't mix slab types. So you can't have, is that correct? Yeah. You can't have a cobblestone slab. You can't have a cobblestone slab and then put a stone slab on top. It creates this air gap because of the way it handles slabs and blocks. It would be nice if that worked, but unfortunately it doesn't. So, I could however do that. That looks a little better. Whoops. There we go. That's smoothed it off a little bit. It's actually easier to see the form if you pop outside, which I think this is the easiest way to go. Take a look on the top. The outside is a little bit too rigid. But yeah, as you can see, it's just a simple method of smoothing off the edging. It seemed a little bit too simple, so I added the extra detail on the inside. And I was quite happy with that as a roof structure. I'll talk about the outside in a minute. So with that roof structure in place and no gas shooting me, I focused my attention on the ground floor. So the first thing I did was put in this staircase, which is just a staircase made of stone slabs. It's 4 wide and little banisters which don't actually stop you walking over them, but it looks nice. And once I'd decided where this comes down to, I kind of worked out where the centre of this circle was, and kind of projected it out to create this external wall, which is very similar to the wall up here, where it's using these double stairs on top of each other, just to have a little recessed little detail. So again, I used that same technique down here, just to add some more detail to that area. Put in some doors, made an interesting pattern on the floor with andesite, smooth andesite, or polished andesite and smooth stone slabs. Added some little pillars just to give it a bit more context, a little bit more structure. And yeah, that was pretty much all I did there. There is a little gap here between, you can't see it because of that pathway, which I'll talk about shortly. There is a gap between the outside skin and the internal skin here. So external skin, internal skin. Now currently this space contains nothing apart from the underside of the stairs and some netherrack. In theory, pigmen can spawn in here, but because they're pigmen, I don't really care about that. That's not really a problem. So yeah, there is actually quite a lot of light in here that's bleeding in from the underside of these slabs where they're 1 slab thick, because I think slabs, when they're singular, count as transparent for light or something crazy. However, to cover this area, I've just had a tiering of stone slabs to kind of cover up that edge and bevel it off, so that we then have this external. No, that's a really bad example. So we then have this 1 wide external wall, which kind of is supporting the rest of it. On the outside, it's a little bare. Originally, it just had these very straight, bare walls, and I fiddled around with these kind of mixture of stone stairs and slabs, and I think these are walls, cobblestone walls. And to be honest, I'm not sure I like them that much. They look okay, they look like they're supporting it, but they don't really add much to... Hello, Gast. I think they add much to the detail. What I'd like to be able to do is... stone stairs, is do something like this on the outside. The unfortunate thing is if you then start connecting them around to each other, you can... It's not going to do it now, but you can end up... Because these are stairs, can end up with strange... Like if I put that there, if I'm putting this straight on, it shouldn't bend it round, but for some reason it does. It's because this block here is a stair block, and it affects how other stairs are placed around it. I've done similar on this side with these supports. I took them all the way down to the bottom because I think, since this is kind of leaning over the edge, it needs a bit more visible support. So there we go. I've also constructed this bridge. This bridge is quite simple, but it looks a lot more ornate than it is. I intend, in theory, to put one out all the way through there and have a couple of little exits. But essentially, this bridge is cobblestone slabs on the floor and some on the ceiling, and then a cobblestone stairs either side and on the top again. so up here. And then a line of cobblestone walls on top and underneath those stairs. And then I've just alternated stone slabs in this kind of almost checkerboard pattern. So it's kind of one on... Oops, no, that's not going to work because I don't have anything above it. Let's quickly put in a quick section of wall. So what I've done is just gone dum, boom, 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 and it creates this nice little kind of almost checkerboard pattern, which, because of the way slabs work, counts as fully occluded for the purposes of ghasts. So ghasts, now they can't shoot me, before they did. Now ghasts can't shoot you in here. See, that ghast up there, can't see me, can't see me. If I were to knock out this block though, it should be able to see me now. Or maybe not, maybe not. But I like this design anyway. I think it is simple, but yet ornate. One of the problems is, however, there's no lighting, no place to put lights apart from on these slabs, which kind of looks a bit nasty, really. I could embed some glowstone in the ceiling or in the floor. Sort of, you could have 4 or 5 blocks and then some glowstone, and then 4 or 5 blocks and some glowstone. But because we're in the Nether, lighting really isn't a problem down here. Everything's kind of well lit, or well enough lit. Last thing I did in the Nether was just built this station up a little bit, made it match the rest of the structure a bit more. Obviously I've not gone all the way down there, but just added some extra little bits of detail. Okay, so that's the Nether fortress, Nether hub, Nether base, whatever you want to call it. Mostly complete. Mostly complete. I mean, at the moment, I would like to, as I said, build another bridge out that way. I'd like to build a rail line, a permanent rail line to the Nether fortress, so that I can kind of farm things if I need them. Of course they won't shoot at me, I'm creative, aren't I? However, I'm going to do that at some other point. I'll probably do it off screen again because it's going to take me ages. I mean, that bridge took me probably about half an hour to do, and that was not even that big. Once I'd sort of got the materials in my inventory. I mean, it's not very big. I just sat and watched some TV and built that thing quickly. But the whole thing probably took me a couple of hours to get done. Back in the real world, I'm not sure what has actually happened. I did some mining. I have got a huge stack of diamonds. Almost 2 stacks of diamonds now. Lots of quartz. I have consolidated my coal. And generally had a bit of a tidy up in here. And things are going relatively well. This video is being recorded just before I go away for the weekend. And I've been very, very busy recently. So recording has taken a bit of a backseat. I'm still trying to make sure that I put up a video every other day. I missed one the other day. I did release the video in the end. It was just a day late. However, I try not to do that in the future. So this might end up being quite a short video, not much in it, and I'm sorry about that, but I do want to release something before I go away. Oh, yes, that reminds me, I'm going to go back to normal. I'm going to get a free stone slab and a free cobblestone wall. I don't think anyone will care, but I now have 2 chickens in here, so I can start breeding them. I also have an egg. Let's see if we can get a 3rd one. No. But I'm going to go run grab some seeds and breed them quickly. Last time I was out here, the other one was still just a baby, so I couldn't breed them. Ah, yes. One of the snapshot changes is they have made improvements, or reductions even, to the cost of repairing items, which essentially means that I've managed to repair my pick, which I was using, and combine it with another pick, which was Not quite as good as this. I mean, this started out as Fortune 3, Efficiency 4, and Breaking 2. And then I added a Fortune 3, Efficiency 4, and Breaking 2, I think. In any case, it came out like this. And I don't know if I have any other picks at the moment. But I also named it. I named it Hephaestus, which is the Greek god of smithing and industry and whatnot. So yeah, at some point I will probably get around to repairing some of this stuff. My helmet's almost gone, my leggings are almost gone. I may let the boots or the chest plate go and replace them with something slightly better, but possibly not. More changes, more off-screen things are, I now have a faster way of getting to the building site with the kind of sub-walkway rail line. And I'm so glad they made this change. Before, when you used to ride a rail that was kind of alternating like this, the cart used to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Your camera would just go, and YouTube's probably going to tell me that my video is shaky. But yeah, so now they've made it so you run smoothly down those alternating paths. This is not the sign of an Enderman, that's my button. Almost got rid of my button there. Okay, so that's a faster way to the building site up here. And I was talking to someone yesterday about this whole project. Their question was, like, they weren't sure why I bothered doing the whole nether base thing after I'd constructed the town circle and then just sort of left it. And I don't know if I made it clear, but basically I'm going to need lots of quartz. And I wanted to have a quartz base. I wanted to have a nether base so that I wasn't worrying so much when I went through the nether, because every time I was going through I was getting attacked. It wasn't very fun. So I just built that thing, and I thought it was interesting to build, and I wanted a more permanent nether base. However, this thing is going to start getting more populated over time. I am currently looking at putting the pathway up to, from here to the kind of stairway up, which needs a proper name, to run kind of along here, up this hill with staircase, in between this rock piece and that hill. So kind of more or less leaving this arch, this rock or dirt arch alone, so I can do something interesting with it. Not sure what yet, but we'll see. Something interesting will happen with that. So it will run up. I've lost my way now. Yeah. So it'll come up here, up this hill, between these little sections here, and I'll put in another staircase that runs up here past where that coal is, up onto this plane up here, forward, and connect up to where the stairs are here. So you'll actually come up to this little plateau, and then what I'm probably going to do is I might lower this a couple of steps. So I might lower this to more like this level. I might take like those 4 blocks out, that whole slice out, because what I want to do is, once I have the moon palace built on this outcrop here, I'm going to want to have a second set of bridges that run parallel to this one across either side that are at a higher level. So kind of overseeing this bridge in almost. I then, once I've built that pathway, I'm going to do one of two things. The first one is, I would like to build a Hall of Artificers, which is going to be quite a big building underground, but it's going to be quite small on the surface. And I think that's probably going to end up being placed It's probably going to end up being placed against the town centre, against the town circle, on the back wall, which we're just approaching now. So on this stone wall here. So I'm thinking of having kind of quite a small doorway, quite an ornate front, but a small doorway that's going to lead into this mountain, and have a big cavern in there with lots of lava pouring down the walls and lots of industry. And that'll be the Hall of Artificers, which is essentially where you will go to have anything you need made. It's where kind of I might even have the Royal Mint in there. And yeah, it's going to basically, in the story of this place, not that I really have one yet, it's sort of going to be like its own thing, almost like its own guild inside the city that almost has its own rules and own laws and own sort of guards and whatnot. Similarly, the Mages Guild, which is going to be off in that direction, I think, possibly through that mountain, I'm not sure, will have a similar deal. So they'll be slightly disconnected from the rest of the city. And then the temple, I think, right, I'm going to make a decision. What I'm going to build here is going to be the Temple of the Moon, which is going to be like the main cathedral building. It's where people go to worship, rather than the Moon Palace, which is the seat of power, which is located on the hill that you pass under on your way up, which will be pretty much entirely made of quartz, and will be very ornate, and will, whoa, we'll have all sorts of things in. I'm looking into some of the more esoteric things you can do with command blocks, especially with things like villagers and getting them to talk to you when you activate them and whatnot. Adding a bit more interactivity into this place when it's getting more towards completed. Partly because I built a village on a server quite a while back, and I mostly built it with one other person, and it was enjoyable, and we had fun, and we built a load of buildings, but it always felt empty, because the server, either people went off and did their own thing, or the server was quiet most of the time. So if I can get some more kind of NPC activity on here, that would be really interesting and really cool. Make the place feel a lot more alive than it currently does. Anyway, that's the current plan. I'm probably going to do the Hall of Artificers first, and have once I've built the road to the town circle, and leave the Moon Palace for later. Partly because I'm going to basically need a full, like maybe 2 full double chests of quartz blocks to do that, because it's going to be a huge task. I mean, I may even at the end of the day, possibly if I don't hate myself too much, end up putting some stuff in creative, because the amount of time and effort it's going to take to acquire all that quartz I want. Like, it would be faster to destroy the Nether and rebuild it, like delete the Nether file and rebuild it, than it would be to, because that would regenerate all the quartz, than it would be to kind of even go out even further in the Nether and search and search and search. Which I might do, I don't know, I'll have to see how I feel about it. The bonus for searching the Nether, and sort of mapping it almost, is you find a lot more temples, you find a lot more fortresses, and in fortresses now you get lots of gold items and diamond items. Like, I found lots of gold and diamond just from raiding that temple. What temple? Oh, my brain is not working today. One of the things I was going to mention is I now have 2 wither skeleton skulls, and only 2 ender pearls, which I need to turn to ender eyes. However, at some point I'm going to hopefully grind for the 3rd wither skull, and then we may have a wither fight to get a... I need more than that. To get a... not portal. It's been a long day. I've had a lot of stuff to do today. To get a beacon to put into the centre of the town square. However, I may end up using my first one, my first portal. No, I'm thinking of the nether portal to kill the dragon first. You see, I may use the first beacon around here or around wherever I'm mining for the utility rather than the appearance. What I'm thinking of doing is putting the wither skulls. No, no, I don't want them on the wall. Come off. There we go. There we go. So we need a third, and we also need to build a... Well, we could build a third brewing stand. I don't know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And I'm sorry for this one. It's a bit short. Goodbye.